So the other day I was thinking about like the current situation that I'm in, the current situation where like a lot of people are working on nowadays. And I was thinking of the concept of leadership and the way that this is managed for some people. Not as a warning, but kind of as a proposal in the way that things are right now and how we may be able to change them for the better. First things first, regarding motivation, which I think is probably the one most important thing that we are missing. What is the difference between motivating somebody and buying them out? So yes, money is a motivation, but let's think about motivation in itself. Motivation can have either positive feedback or negative feedback. For example, you eat something and it tastes really good. You don't need to be reminded that this is good. You just know it is and you want to keep doing it again. As opposed to, for example, you eat something and it's really, really bad or it makes you sick somehow, you will not want to eat it again. Right? So you're avoiding that negative feedback. One thing that goes on nowadays is that negative feedback is applied in a way that you need to do constant work in order to avoid the negative feedback. Well, it's kind of a hostage situation. That's weird. How can we motivate people if we're not giving them a positive reinforcement to the things that they're doing and that they should be doing? I don't know, here's a bonus, here's some recognition, here's some validation, here's a promotion, here's anything like that. Like, hey, you're doing a really great job, look at the testimonials, look at the people you're helping so far. This is important. This creates that positive feedback loop. It can't happen just once, it needs to continue happening so this person can reinforce that behavior and possibly even spread it out to everybody else. So in this way, we can create what's called a virtuous cycle instead of a vicious cycle. And a vicious cycle in this case would be like, do this or else, which is what we have going on in my workplace, which I told you the worker calls center. Anyway, so let's move on to the people who should be managing motivation. In this case, I'll need to go over all the way to leadership. So leadership actually exists in all levels. When I speak of leadership, I don't speak of my managers or their managers or even me as a supervisor of however many people. I mean that in every single level of that company structure, there is a form of leadership. Senior workers will have an authority and they will exert that in the form of commentary. And they'll tell people, yeah, this is how it works here, this is how it works there. They'll keep some good practices, they'll keep some others, and some others will keep some complaints. Now, the thing with leadership in these cases is that leaders are people who are followed, people who are able to move people. They have an authority, they just are an authority, whatever level they're in. The key to all of this is really to motivate the leaders so that they will be a positive reinforcement on their own. And in this way, everything can pretty much just fall into place. So what can we actually do? Focus your time on the things that really matter. At least in the way that I see it, the things that really matter are the people who are doing the job. You're gonna have a really, really hard time if your workforce doesn't want to do its job, right? So what do? Okay, we find the people that motivate them, we have the people who we acknowledge their efforts, we acknowledge the progress. We help them progress, we help them move forward. I think that leadership needs to be exercised and practiced as well. I think that there is such a thing as a natural leader, but most of us are not. Most of us actually grew into a position where we were given responsibility and became an authority due to knowledge, due to tenure, seniority, a position of leadership, but not leadership skills. But what happens there? We have very good workers who are not leaders and very good leaders who are not workers. And that's the kind of thing that makes it so that we have people who are very good at numbers but very bad with people in higher management. And we as leaders, we need to acknowledge that we are lacking in some ways and take responsibility for that and take our time to learn and improve our leadership skills and actually work with our people and make sure that they feel like doing the job that they're getting paid for. You cannot demand loyalty. You need to earn it. Well, anyway, so I think that's it for today. That covers like pretty much everything I want to rant about. And I'll see you next video.